everyone, this is Chad.
This is Serena.
And Lindsay.
Hey.
Finally.
And
Welcome
to
EduLife, episode
Quattro. Hey friends, Chad here. Today I'm speaking with
Mackenzie Martin.
Mackenzie. Why am I speaking to you today?
I think it's because I got the TD scholarship.
Alright, so really quick, could you explain to everyone what the TD scholarship is all about?
Yeah, so the TD Bank gives 20 students a year in grade 12 a scholarship for a university that pays for an undergrad degree. It's worth $70,000. So it's for community leadership and yeah.
Wow, that's a lot. That's really great that you got that. What type of things did you do in high school that went towards that?
Well, I'm really passionate about the issues facing girls and women, but particularly girls. I mean, I'm not passionate about what's happening to them. I'm upset about what's happening to them. So I'm trying to raise awareness about different things facing girls, such as teen pregnancy, child marriage, and things like that. So mainly I organize events in my community to raise awareness about girls' issues, such as a conference I did last year for the first International Day of the Girl.
Wow, could you explain that a little more?
Yeah, so I heard about the first International Day of the Girl, which was a day designated by the United Nations to raise awareness about issues facing girls. And so I wanted to do something about it. And so I talked to my school principal and I said, I want to do something to raise awareness about girls' issues. And one thing led to another, and then I ended up booking the Winspear, and 1,700 students came, and we talked about different issues like teen pregnancy, physical literacy, the way the media impacts girls. And so it was sort of like TED Talks, like 20-minute segments on issues facing girls. So the main point was just to raise awareness.
Wow, what type of speakers did you have come out to that?
Well, Federal Minister Ronna Ambrose, she came. She used to be the Federal Minister for the Status of Women, and Premier Redford spoke over a video conference. She pre-taped a video because she couldn't attend the actual conference. And then we had professors from the U of A, Dr. Vicky Harbour, she's in the faculty of phys ed, and speakers like that.
Oh, that's really great. So now that you've started your degree here, what are some of the types of things that you're involved in now?
Well, I was actually recently appointed to the Ministry of Education's Task Force for Teaching Excellence, and so that's really interesting. And I'm also going to be working with Braemar, which is the School for Pregnant and Parenting Teens, a little bit. Yeah.
That's great. So moving forward, what type of vision do you have for your role in the community as a teacher, as an advocate? What are some of the ideas that you have?
Well, I'm not totally sure. I decided that I wanted to be in education about a year ago, and I thought it might be interesting because I'm really focused on raising awareness, so teaching is sort of a part of that. And I also couldn't think of a more rewarding career to teach kids every day and have an impact in their lives.
Certainly. Well, thank you very much for your time, Mackenzie.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, I'm Nicole here, and I'm going to ask you, are you interested in public or Catholic, and why are you leaning towards either or?
Honestly, I'm not leaning towards either one. I'd be okay with working in either public or Catholic because each one has their own pros and cons, and I'd be interested in expanding my idea of the different environments of schools, which would help with teaching.
I'd go with either as long as I get a job.
We actually offer a Catholic education certificate at St. Joseph's College. Would you ever be interested to know more about it?
I would be, yeah, especially if it would help me get a job somewhere, but yeah, for sure.
Perfect. Well, you have to stay tuned this week and watch Serena's segment at St. Joseph's College.
Are you thinking of applying to a Catholic school after you graduate and want to vamp up your resume? Well, right now we're standing in front of St. Joseph's College. So let's go inside and find out about the Certificate of Catholic Education. So Sarah, first of all, what is the Certificate of Catholic Education? What is it and what does it entail?
The certificate basically provides additional qualifications in the area of elementary and secondary education, and it's essentially an additional credential that you can add on your resume.
Great. So how can it help students in the future?
The certificate first involves 2 courses that you will need to apply for a continuous teaching contract with the Edmonton School District. One of them is CHRTC 250 and the other one is CHRTC 380 or 381. Those are required, and all you need is 2 more courses and you can get your certificate.
So to get the certificate, like what year do you have to be, and when's the ad drop deadline? When do we apply? Like, how do we apply for the certificate?
You can go to our website and you can download the application at stjosephscollege.ca. You can come stop into my office and I'd be happy to talk to anybody about it. And you can basically apply anytime, but it really helps to come to it before the ad drop deadline of each semester.
And Brittany, she is the Director of Campus Ministry. I heard there's a brand new course that you're teaching, and can we hear a little bit about it?
I'm teaching a CHRTC 339 course, International Field Education Guatemala, which, Serena, you're in. So what we do in that course is examine Catholic social teaching and the tradition of liberation theology in the church and that sort of thing, and see how that applies to the context of theology in Guatemala. We over Reading Week we go work in an HIV orphanage in Guatemala and learn from the different people working with the children in the church there as well. In addition to that, we do inner city work in Edmonton, because really the focus and the goal of this course is to learn how to serve locally and apply our gifts and our talents here in Edmonton.
So moving on, so Brittany and Sarah, is there anything else that education students should kind of know about St. Joe's? Any fun facts or anything like that?
Well, there's some things that are pretty critical for education students to know, especially if they're planning on teaching in Catholic school. And one of those things is at the end of your fourth year, when you're applying to teach at the Catholic School Board, you'll need a pastoral reference letter. And what a pastoral reference letter is, a letter from one of the priests or myself indicating that you've been involved in liturgy or attending Mass and learning about your faith over the course of your studies. And what often happens in the fourth year is a lot of students don't know this, and then they come rushing in for a reference letter and we don't know them, and we can't give a reference letter to someone we don't know. So to avoid that problem and that stress, come meet me early and I can let education students know how to get involved, what programs we have to get involved, volunteer opportunities for Mass and that sort of thing. And if you're thinking, oh my gosh, I haven't been involved in Mass in 10 years, 15 years, or since my first communion in grade 2, St. Joe's is a great place to reconnect with your faith and learn those things. And there's a lot of people in different places and different spots in their faith journeys, so everyone's welcome here to do that. And I can personally tap into the gifts of the individual person to make them feel passionate about the way they're serving.
So now that we've heard some wonderful news from both Sarah and Brittany, let's move on to Dr. Matt Hoven. I heard that there's also another brand new course that you're teaching. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure do. It's called Sport and Religion. So it's a class that where for most of my students, they love sports, they're active, they coach, they do all these things with sports, but they don't really think about it. So this is a chance to reflect on it, but in terms of just religious themes that often go with freedom, joy, play, a lot of ties with history. A lot of early sports were actually part of religious rituals, but we've just moved them away from that. And what we're seeing in like the NFL, you see a lot of sport athletes making gestures to the heavens, you know, praying and all this. They're showing some semblance of it, but what we're in there, we're thinking about it, reflecting on our sports, and students I think really buy into it because of that, because sport is so dear to them. They want to get into it. And then a final project is writing a paper on the area and then making a poster. And this year in I think it's November 29th, November 22nd. It's a Friday. The Bears basketball team and the Pandas basketball, we're going to have a celebration of sport and spirit that night. So we'll have the students' posters up, and it's a way to promote the spiritual dimension of sport. That's kind of tacked onto the class.
So right now we're joined by a local celebrity. This is Father Terry. He is the president of St. Joseph's College. And so Father Terry, welcome. And my question to you is, I know a lot of education students, when they graduate, they need that pastoral reference. Could you describe how to get that or what it is?
Yeah, the key is to know your priest, or here at the college, know Brittany White, the Director of Campus Ministry. Because to apply for a permanent position at a school, they'll want to have some kind of evidence that you've been involved in some kind of Catholic parish, or in our case, the campus ministry here at St. Joe's.
And is there any specific volunteer opportunities that you would recommend?
Oh, I mean, I don't want to single any particular one out. I mean, there's St. Vincent de Paul. There's you know, the fellows upstairs. They do a food run downtown for the of the homeless. There's just no shortage of volunteer opportunities here at the college.
Perfect. Thank you so much.